Alright guys, welcome back to Jurassic Peck Farms. I'm Marjorie and today I'm going to tell you what to do when things get a little hot and you need to help your chickens and your ducks. Come on with me, let's see what we're going to do today. Okay, so first things first, there's a couple things that you can do when you have chickens and ducks. So ducks, they're pretty good, shade, some cool water, maybe some cool treats, like I do frozen peas for them, or like really cold refrigerated peas. That usually keeps them pretty cool. And I always make sure that I have plenty of water in their pool and that I'm changing out their water. If their water sits in the sun, it gets hot. Nobody likes drinking hot water on a hot summer day. Well, maybe some people do, but ducks don't. Chickens are the same way. There's a lot of ways to keep chickens cool. Some people say that you can leave a small pool of water out about this deep. They'll step in it. Chickens do cool through their feet. That is one way they do it besides their feathers. But if you are trying to cool a chicken down and a chicken is overheating, I have found that a small bucket of water and like dunking them in it, like not full up to their head, but just like chest height, it's kind of like they're floating on it like a duck, and they will float. They can't really swim, but they can't, well, they can swim, but not like a duck. But you can set them on top, and they might not like it at first, but then they'll realize it's cooling them down, and it kind of cools their core body temperature. So if you have a chicken that's really dealing with some sort of sunstroke and you're trying to cool them down quickly, I've found that here, that really does help. You do want to be mindful, though, if you do have that situation, you want to monitor that chicken, because they really can just die of heat stroke very easily, especially breeds that aren't meant to be in hotter weather. I mean, here we only get 1 or 2 days, so for me, what I find works, you always want to make sure you got some shade. So you always want to have shade. You need to have cool water. So just like the ducks, they do not like drinking hot water. And a lot of times if it's really hot outside, the water itself will get hot. Even if it's not in the sun, it just becomes the ambient temperature of the outside. So just checking on that water, making sure that it stays cold. If that means you have to replace it a couple times in the day, or refill it, or have some sort of open water source for them to like go and enjoy, like even just an open bowl of water where you can add some ice cubes. That really does help. Chickens won't drink warm water. And honestly, I don't blame them, especially when it's hot outside. It's definitely not my favorite way to get cool. Second, you can do treats. So I haven't personally done a frozen block of ice treat with like things inside, but I have done chilled watermelon, chilled fruit. Sometimes I'll just cool their I'll make sure the lettuce is in the fridge, or a cabbage is in the fridge, or even in the freezer, and it'll be a cool treat. It'll sit in their gizzard, and it'll be there. It'll sit in their body. It'll help cool them off. It really does help. Plus, they enjoy it, especially anything that has water in it. It's really why I like watermelon or fruits like peaches, pears, like all of that stuff that is chilled. Chilled apples. My chicken love chilled apples because then they can also, if it's still the full apple, they'll run around and chase it. So anything kind of cool that they can eat or ingest in an afternoon snack, I love doing that. I think it's one of my favorite ways. And then in general, like I've seen fans, if it gets really hot, you can have a fan in the coop, you can have a fan outside. I will sometimes take my hose and do a little mister section. So like I'll just hang it and I'll let it sit there for 5 to 10 minutes, just misting the area to cool the ambient temperature around. They do have plenty of shade. It is the same rain cover that they use when it's too rainy outside for them. And I kind of just want them to get a little dry. And just ventilation in general. Like my coop can get pretty hot. It does cool off rather quickly though, and I personally can't really leave the door open for them because I don't want any predators getting in. I mean, technically it is a predator-proof coop, but raccoons are smart and I don't want to deal with any of that. So there is ventilation in there. It does still stay hot, but it's not like over 100. So I usually feel pretty confident about going and shutting the door around 9:30, 10 o'clock. It might still be like 85 degrees, but it does cool down pretty quick because at night here it still doesn't stay like 85 degrees. But if it is and you're in a situation where your coop's really hot, an open air coop is really good if you can keep your chickens safe. So that might mean you have a livestock guardian dog somewhere, or you have other animals that protect the chickens, something. But you can't, if you leave them out just roaming around, like especially in your neighborhood, dogs, raccoons, any sort of like predatory animal, possums, skunks, they will come get them. And then if you have bigger predators like foxes or owls or any sort of aerial predator that is nocturnal. I have an owl, pretty good size one. I mean, he's half my body. I saw him sitting up on the duck coop last winter Kind of scared the heck out of me. I did not know what that was. His face was bigger than mine. But to be fair, I have a smaller head, so do with that what you will. But either way, he was sitting there waiting. If I wasn't there to put the ducks away that night, I don't know if he would have snatched one. Chickens just are sitting ducks, for lack of a better term, at night. They fall asleep, they don't wake up. That's why it's always easier to move chickens at night, because they kind of just pass out and they react to light. I do know people that have kind of like an open air coop with chicken wire underneath, and then they sit up off the ground, and they seem to work just fine. You just need to make sure they have ventilation in their coop and that it's nice and free flowing air. That's really what you need, and you should have that anyway. Even when it's in the winter or in the rainy season here, it gets kind of muggy, and it will prevent bacterial growth anyway. So we all know what we look like when we get too hot. We have problems breathing, we get really sweaty, our face might get really red, we might get really lethargic and not want to do anything, lay around. We'll want to try to find some shade or some, like a pool to jump into, somewhere cold, colder to be. This is the same with chickens. They just show it a little differently. So chickens, they like to do, don't be alarmed, is to dig a hole and then kind of sit in it, or even pull some dirt onto them to kind of cool their skin down. That also cleans them. But, you know, sitting in a cold hole, you might have seen a dog do it at one point. I mean, we might have done it as a human, kind of in like the cooler depths of the earth. So chickens do that quite a bit, and that's what they do in general. But when it's hot, they'll dig one of those holes and they'll try to stay in the shade somewhere and kind of absorb the coolness from the earth. Your chickens will pant. It looks weird. The first time I saw it, I'm like, oh my God, my chickens are dying. They're hot. They'll hold their wings out away from their body, trying to get air underneath, kind of like when we try to air out our pits, you know? You're just hanging, or you hang your arm out the window, like trying to chill it out. It's the same. Chickens do the same. That's how they cool down. That's how they stay cool. You'll see them start to pant, and that's why it's just really important when you see that, keep your eye on your chickens and just make sure that they're able to stay cool, whether that's like giving their feet a chance to be in the water. That's never worked for my chickens. I tried that one year and they would not get in or out of it. I physically had to dunk them. Having a mister available, or some sort of mister or spray that you can hose down the area in, just to kind of cool the ambient temperature off for a short amount of time or a long amount of time, depending on how much money you like to spend on water. Cold water for them to drink, and cold refrigerated treats or frozen treats. There's a lot of recipes online. People freeze worms and watermelon and grapes and all sorts of things into chicken ice cube trays and blocks for them to eat. And they do really like that kind of thing anyway, so why not do it in the summer, help keep them cooler. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining me today. I hope you stay cool and your chickens stay cool. I'll see you next time.